Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Going into hour number 3 of RollPlay Nebula Jazz. Let's see what our girl Aurora has been up to. So, last we saw you, Aurora, you had a mostly empty bottle of booze, and you had been reintroduced to your handsome space magician paramour, the amazing Dango Keel. So where set the scene. Tell us where we see you at and what's going on.
Well, I would, like everyone else, say I was kind of a big deal, but really, Dango's kind of a big deal now.
Right.
We left. We left because I was like, everyone hates me. I got drunk and I made the decision due to Dango, I guess, talking me into it to just leave. And
so maybe we start on like not a crowd scene, but a line scene. So
we're backstage. So right now we're on this planet called Tycho, and this planet doesn't really believe in magic. They're
What's the name of the planet?
Tycho.
Tycho? Okay.
They don't believe in magic. They believe in science and all that. And Dango was like, hey, if we can convince them of magic, and I'm kind of a big deal now in the magician's world, then we'll get so much money from them because everyone will want to see. So, of course, I'm, just like, whatever, man. Like, whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Point of order. What is your relationship with him at this time?
Well, I mean, I think we see them. I mean, we'll discover that. It's a really important question to answer. But I think that if we're envisioning the scene, like to set up that we're on Tycho and stuff, we see a bunch of Tychoites, people that live on this planet.
Very like finely dressed, very very to the point. Like there's a lot of like what is it? Like squares and rectangle. Very, I don't know. It's not like
it's a nerd planet for nerds.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. I see. I'm with you. I get it without having to say it. It's a nerd planet for nerds. So we're following the camera shot. It's like a dolly shot across a huge like lineup of people, and they're lined up outside of an arena, right, waiting to get in. And there are signs behind them, more of those sort of hollow GIF signs. One night only. Tycho, the Tycho City Memorial Arena. The amazing Dango Keel and guests. And and so there's all these people, and mostly they're standing around talking about how like they're here, they're just like, oh well, I don't believe in magic. I'm just, I want to see it for myself so that I can properly debunk it. And there's all these conversations about like different magicians that have been debunked, and like they're very proud on this planet of destroying illusionists, even though we know that in the universe at large it's a time-honored tradition.
And Aurora, she doesn't know anything. You see her and Dango backstage. She's sitting down with her feet propped up, and she's not worried at all. She already has this ridiculous.
Can I pause it? I was gonna say, can we talk about your outfit? So I envision that you're wearing like a red like sequin gown.
Yes, that was gonna say that. Okay. And it has a slit go up really high. And she tried to argue with Dango for so long about getting rid of the dumb dress. It makes no sense.
You have to be sexy. It has to be my beautiful assistant.
And then she has to take 2 push-up bras on to make her boobs just look way bigger than they are. And she's just like, I don't get any of. Why am I doing this again?
It's very much like a Dr. Dolittle situation where they've like, you're kind of the girl next door, and he's tried to like fancy you up. So you have like really bright like red eyeshadow on and like big fake eyelashes, and your hair either is a wig or it's been teased like an extra half meat. Like you have this big feathered kind of 80s. Like fancy lady hairdo, and they're assistants. You've got like a couple of them. They're finishing your makeup backstage, and so we see a rack of other sequin clothes. We see a huge hover trunk that's got like the amazing Dango Keel on the side of it. And there's these 2 multi-armed aliens who are spray paint hairspraying your hair and teasing it up with like various devices and applying your makeup.
And I'm just like slouched back, my feet are up, even in the heels. It doesn't look ladylike whatsoever because I mean she doesn't know what that means. And at the moment she's like looking at her Pip-Boy, which he always makes her take off, and she doesn't want to. she's marking off the days that they've been doing this, and they've done 47 shows already, so this would be the 48th, right?
Right.
They've been lucky though. She's marking it down. Only 3 people have been injured the whole time. Only
Just
3.
little like skulls on your calendar. The times those things have happened.
Like, it's been 5 shows since the last death. We're doing good. We're doing
and
good.
this is I think when Dango comes in and we hear, maybe it was present in the soundtrack before, like a quiet kind of like sound, but obviously a door opens somewhere, the high pass filter comes off, and we hear like the sound of a crowd, and we see Dango come in, and he's wearing his tuxedo, his magician's tuxedo with like the long tails, and he's holding his hat, his top hat in his hand, and he keeps like putting his hand in and out of it, like trying to. It's like, haha, and like he keeps taking these fake silk feather flowers out of it, but he's trying to find the best way to. And so he walks in.
Well, the funny thing is, one time she wanted to beef up his magic, and one of the people that got injured one time when they went like that, and he made it seem all dramatic. She's like, oh, I'm gonna make this better, and she accidentally summoned a boulder and threw it into the audience, and it landed on someone.
Crushed somebody.
That's one of the. But when he walks in, she's actually still looking at her Pip-Boy, but she has 3 cameras up, and these 3 cameras are of very familiar faces to her, but not of anyone else. Mm-hmm. And she's like looking at it, but when he walks in, she immediately like clicks it off and right.
Goes like and this. I think he sees you. He doesn't see what you were looking at, but he sees you were looking at the Pip-Boy, and he rolls his eyes and sighs angrily. Like, you've had this argument so many times already, and he looks at it and he's like, "What are you doing? Come on, I need you to be ready. We have to go on in 5 minutes, and you're still fiddling with that thing. Why didn't you just leave it behind on the last planet like I told you to? It's just distracting you from the act." Now, what did we say? And he like comes in, like kneels down in front of you, and he like takes your hand in his little like white gloves, and he's like, "You have to let go. Those people were no good for you. It's just you and me now, baby. Just Dango and Aurora against the universe.
We'll get you new friends."
And I like rip my hand away, and I'm like, "What do you think? I was watching a movie, okay? It was a really good movie too, and you interrupted it. This is my getting ready ritual. You wanted me to do this." Oh God.
Yeah. And
I'd like to offer up a token of my esteemed. I'm not gonna say affection. I'm gonna say troubles. I want to compel you.
Mm-hmm.
In order to convince him that, like, baby, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's the. You use your happy-go-lucky side to plant him a big sloppy kiss to get his mind off of the fact that
right, you invert the "shut up, baby" kiss, and you grab him by the shoulders of the face.
Just so he'll forget, because you know that he loves you so much that just kissing him will get him to be like, "Woo, okay, you win."
Would you like to take that compel, Aurora, or do you have something else?
I'd like to take it a little step further and say that is how you've been doing it the whole trip, is by I'm gonna say pleasing him. You keep him out of your business.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Take it.
Compelled.
So whenever he starts to argue about like, "No, I know what you were doing," blah blah blah, that's when she like leans forward, and she doesn't like even the whole trip. She doesn't properly. She's seen it in TV shows,
right? Of course, this is a move. Yeah, this is a move you've seen 1,000 times, right? Like anytime someone is upset about something, you just grab them firmly by the face and you smooch them, and then they calm down.
And everything's fine.
It seems to be working for Dango.
Yeah, and so it's just a big old sloppy kiss right on the lips, and
okay,
he immediately feet red.
Yeah, the two makeup technicians that are nearby are like, ooh, and like make a big deal of it, and you stop and he
back and starts like fixing her lipstick again, like
exactly. And there's someone Dango's face, and he touches his mouth and he looks at you and he's like I'm sorry. I'm just, how important this Taiko show is for me. These people are they're the hardest crowd we'll ever face. Every serious magician in the entire universe has to do a stint in this arena, and it's finally my time. It's Dango's time to show. I mean, our time. It's the Dango Keel and friends. We're gonna do great. I'm feeling a little stressed. I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't mean to get upset with you. I just, we're gonna be out there, and and you know that Beeble and Fringus are both going to be in the audience, and you know we really got to impress them. And he just like he sighs, and his tie is all like undone, and you can see he's having a hard time. What are you gonna do?
She reaches forward or I reach forward and I put like my fingers against his forehead and I just brush his hair to the side and I like try to make it look neat. I'm trying to do that thing that I've seen like so many people do on these shows, like showing affection.
Fix
like,
his bow tie.
I've even researched how to show affection. So I'm showing affection. I'm like, oh, let's be real. This is your show. I'm just here to help you. I'm your assistant, remember? And I'm like, you'll do fine. We've had 47 shows and only 3 incidents. I think we'll be okay.
And and he says you. I don't know if you understand how important this is to me. We can't screw this up.
And as he says, I'm like, oh, it's okay because like I mean, if they're not impressed, then we can just kill them all, right? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, and he sighs and he's like, you know, I don't like it when you talk like that, baby. I mean, I know that's how it used to be for you with those friends of yours just running around killing people and doing who knows what, but you know, I've talked to your grandpa a bunch of times about this, and we just think that, you know, some stability is what's best for you. Then I can provide for you here on the road. We can be rich and famous, and then when the tour is over, we can retire and we can live on one of those Eden planets that the Imperium's been selling off. We could have our own planet. Wouldn't that be great? And no one would ever bother us.
I mean, yeah, totally. It would be so great. What time is the show again? Aren't you supposed to be on soon?
Right, and that's when we see someone open the door, and it's the stage manager alien, right? Like he's got his little eye stalks, and he's holding a little clipboard, and he's like, 5 minutes, everybody, 5 minutes.
And then I like sigh. I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. And I was like, hey, I need some girl things. I just need a few minutes to myself. It's a girl thing. Sorry. It's just privacy, please. Just real quick.
And he gets up and he brushes off his tuxedo and he like shakes his hat, puts it on his head, looks at himself in the mirror, and you can tell he's not looking at you at all. You're in the background of like him looking at himself in the mirror, and he's like, Dango, all right. Come on, man, you can do this. And he doesn't even say goodbye. He just walks out of the room. And the one of the little assistant creatures looks at you, and she says, and they travel with you, and they say they're like, oh, honey, you're so lucky. He's a magnificent specimen. You hold on to that one. And she like waves a little appendage at you.
And I raise my pit boy up, and as she says it, I look at her and I go, get the fuck out of here.
And they look at each other and like, whoa, talent, fine, snippy. And the two of them kind of roll out of the room like fleshy tumbleweeds.
And so then I bring back up the 3 cameras, and I'm currently watching 3 people at once. And as I'm doing it, I have one assistant come up, and her name is Cheryl. And she's a pink creature from a planet that is very humanoid in essence, but for some reason, the people there are insanely in shape and very, very strong, even the women. And they have, maybe it's a flaw, maybe it's a good thing, they're undying loyalty. And I found her one day while drinking in a bar, and we both got in a bar fight with someone else. Well, let's just say that I pissed someone off and she defended me. So I bought her drinks and we became BFFs. And now I basically
what's her job on the tour?
Her job on the tour is basically my bodyguard. I convinced Dango by being affectionate. I convinced him that I needed a bodyguard because what if someone tried to hit on me or worse?
Yeah. So I think she I'm going to do that thing again where I can't remember the name of a celebrity. She would be played by a spray painted green version of that that blonde like weightlifter that all the like gifs of were on the internet. I can't remember. Yeah. She's like a fairly like normal name, but that girl, I think her name starts with an S. Somebody look it up for me. But anyway, it'd be played by her. She's got, her hair is pink. She's all like green. And I think that her people, like Cheryl's people, are like plant people. So she maybe has like a little like orchid blossom that like comes up
Yeah.
beside her ear.
Samantha,
And
right?
that's the one. Thank you. I knew it was an S name. And and she has this kind of like bodyguard unitard thing that she wears. She doesn't carry a weapon because she's tough and she has her own like natural plantoid defenses. And so she sees you, looking at your thing.
And I walk up, and of course I have to take off the Pip-Boy, or Dangle will just he'll lose it. So I take it off, and I hand it to her, and I say, don't turn this off. I need you to monitor what's going on right now. I think something's happening right here. And I point to one of the screens. But of course, like, the audience won't see what I'm pointing to. And then she nods. She doesn't say anything, and then she just slips into the back, opposite of where the rest of the helpers went.
Okay, I think before, so you give her the like Pip-Boy to take away or whatever, but before you go, she grabs your wrist, not like forcefully, but like just to stop you, and she turns you around, and we see the two of you reflected in the mirror, and she reaches up with one like green hand, and she wipes like a little bit of lipstick off the side of your lip, and she smiles, and she's like, there.
I blow her a kiss as she walks away.
Yeah, and so you turn around to.
For once, the audience can't tell, but it might feel a little more genuine than obviously when she was dealing with Dango.
I'm gonna compel you here that may not be the case. I think because you have no emotions and you're a robot, I think this is not that that's not that simple. I think that maybe you're not sure how you feel. And instead, you're not sure if you're faking it or not. Like you don't even know if you like her or not. Like we get, instead of that like, yeah, this is my friend for real, we get that look in the mirror of like robot face for a second. If you want to take the compel, if not, if you want to like legitimately like be affectionate towards your new friend, that's cool. You just got to spend a fate point for it.
Would I be able to sense if she's being affectionate or not still?
I mean, no, you're a robot, right? If you take the point, this is just like we are playing humanoid game. I don't care what you feel. Be flirting.
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'll take it. And then I will still blow her a kiss, but it'll be in sort of like, it'll be in the same tone that I send it to Dango.
Yeah. And so I think we see her watch after you as you leave, and yeah, she looks a little like sad. She's a little like looks down at the Pip-Boy and go off stage. So we cut to I guess probably the end of the performance. But I want to see how it goes. So I'm thinking the theater is a fairly kind of Earth standard theater, like an Orpheum kind of thing, like big plush seats, lots and lots of banks of people, lots of loud voices. We're just reaching the crescendo of Dango's big show, and the place is full of people who are here to disprove it, to be like, no, this is terrible and boring. What is the big end number? And what does that look like? What is Dango's? And now for my last trick, what is it?
He's gonna do the big number of trying to escape before he drowns.
In chains.
Right. I was about to say, so this, yeah. And now for my final number, and it's called Dango Unchained, and yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, and he's in chains. Yeah, he's in chains. So it is Dango Unchained.
So yeah, he does that thing, and I'm very much like, if the vision you're getting here is like Gob Bluth but an alien, you're on the right page. The theme song to Beverly Hills Cop 3 comes on, and he like gestures off stage, and like two assistants come on carrying chains, and they start like wrapping him up. And they put the chains on him, and then they attach it to a hook, and he like hangs upside down from one foot by this like chain bundle. What are you doing during this sequence?
I'm looking cute, like he tells me to.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just looking cute, and I'm also like I go up to the tank that he has to escape from, and I'm describing it to the audience as he's getting chained in front of it. So I'm just describing the tank, saying, this is
So here's what's awesome. So you bring up the tank, and I think that part of your rehearsal, we flash back to Dango buying this tank, right? And it's you and Dango, and you're standing in like a junkyard. It's massive piles of garbage everywhere. You're still dressed more or less the same as you were before, and he's arguing with this short, like bearded creature about this big tank, and the creature is like he's like, is tank strong? Tank was designed to hold sharkanoid fugitives. And and so like we see this big tank, and Dango's like nodding. It's like yes,
But
yes.
when he says that though, that's when I'm like, we'll buy it. Because
Right, yeah.
Darkoid.
So we cut back to you, and that's what you're saying. You're like, so what are you telling the audience about the tank as it's being filled with water
It's
out
about
on stage?
500 gallons. It's a huge tank, and it's got a beautiful. I've remodeled it actually because it was just in terrible condition. But I am like this 500-gallon tank that was bought off this luxurious planet from this insert really famous name here. And it depends on the crowd. I'll change out the famous name, depending on where we're at. So I'm like, that was bought from this person, and we remodel it to reflect blah blah blah. And I am talking about it as he's getting chained up, and then finally, whenever he's fully chained, that's when I walk behind him and I start like tugging at the chains, and he takes over talking about how I'm making sure that
right, he's like hanging upside down. And he's like, as my lovely assistant said, this tank was designed to, and like, yeah, he's playing it up, and the water is like filling up, and I want to have you roll first to create an aspect, right? Because you're prepping the crowd, right? So that later when you have to impress them, you might have this aspect to fall back on.
Yeah.
So I think you're trying to be flashy. So this is a flashy roll, and I think just to get them hyped up, to get them set up, let's say difficulty 3 for that roll.
Yay!
There you go. All right. So what do you want to call this?
Obviously, Dango Unchained.
Okay, so we'll just call this. All right, Dango Unchained, the most magnificent show in the universe. Okay, so you have one use of this for when you actually have to go to make that flashy roll to impress the crowd.
Okay.
It's going to be difficult, so you're going to need this. So Dango is now hanging from the chain, and he says, we're going to need complete silence for this trick, and everybody kind of like grumbling. And he's like, silence. There's not a real trick. He's just gonna, and they're like slowly like quieting down.
As I hear the mumbles and one person like hollers in the back, "It's a lie!" I go, "Silence!" like that. And then everyone just like shuts up.
Yeah, everyone, it gets quiet in the auditorium. Maybe we can hear like occasionally like shuffling, someone coughing, and the sound of the chain like rattling. And maybe actually you have to do it. It's on a pulley, so the chain goes down to the point. It's got this big cartoony kind of like pulley. You have to slowly lower him into the water. And so the chain continues to extend slowly down towards the tank.
It extends down, and I mean I almost want to say like it's his head that goes in first, or his head that goes in last. It's his feet that goes in first. So it's actually holding him up to where like he's getting pulled down or pushed down into it, standing up straight. But he is chained to the object, which is putting him down there, and he has to break free from that. And as they start going down, I'm just like watching, and I almost, if anyone was paying attention, which they're not, I look incredibly bored. Just incredibly bored.
And they're all looking at Dango, who has that kind of stage smile on, like he's like, I can't breathe, but I'm like, oh, and like you can see him like worming his way around in the chains. And has he? I guess here's my question. So we flash back to more like a gym environment. The tank is still in its original shape, all like scuffed and battered. He's chained up. He's in it, but he's wearing like a swimsuit. And has the chains on. You're just wearing like regular clothes, like sweatpants and a t-shirt, and he's struggling. And has he ever been able to do this trick on his own before? I can assume the answer, but
what happened is when he wasn't like he tried it several times and was never able to actually do the trick. But then when he wasn't looking, when he gave up in defeat and walked away, I tried it, and every single time I was able to do it, because I was trying to see what it was like to be in that and what would have to happen in order for someone to get free.
Right. So the flashback sequence is him struggling to do it, and then like stomping on an emergency release, and the water all drains. He pulls himself up, and he looks out at you, and he's all covered in water, and he just shakes his head. He's like, I don't think it's possible. It's just the trick is impossible. And he gets angry and storms off. And then we see you, I guess, like refilling the tank and trying it yourself.
Yeah, then that's when I get down in my undies and I get in, and I have Cheryl help me tie me up, and then I do it. Back.
Hey.
Really?
Oh.
So okay, so yeah, you can do this trick on your own, but he's still not capable. And so he's you see him thrashing around, and he looks over at you, and you see that look like panic starting to take over a little bit.
Mhm.
I
What do you do?
wanna compel you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanna compel your happy-go-luckiness.
Okay.
Your techno mage. That after he saw you do it, every subsequent time he's been in the tank, you have helped him escape. You've like loosened the chains with your techno mage powers. And
so,
this particular time, like you want to see what happens if you don't help.
So you're compelling me not to loosen the chains or any of that.
Yeah.
Doing?
I'm saying like normally you would. I'm compelling you
Let
to like
him
out
die.
of intrigue.
Let him
like,
die.
You remember him in the mirror like, this is the Jago shit, let's go, and all this stuff. And you're like, what happens if I don't help him get out of these chains? Just for a minute.
This is actually this is actually more the other one, right? The no emotions.
Right? Yeah. You're like you loot like you're not, the emotional attachment's not there. It's about like science, like
Right.
intrigue. Like can he live? Can he do this?
I love the idea. Well, there's a moment. All right, so you can decide what you want to do, whether you take it or not. But where he looks at you and you're like, oh, if I don't do anything, he's just gonna drown.
Yeah. You realize that you have been keeping
die. I'm just gonna let him sit there for longer than maybe I should. Just a little longer than I should.
Yeah,
Or
there's like a I'd say there's like a good like 30 seconds where like you see the panic set in, and normally you've assisted him before now, but then part of you is like, what happens if I don't?
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Dealer Umbra in chat says this is when we learn that it takes two to dango.
I saw that. There's the name for the Q&A.
That's good.
Oh no.
That's the last dango in Paris. Okay, so are you gonna take the compel, or are you gonna be merciful and because if you the consequences here that if you don't take the compel, you help him out, you get to make the roll, and the show goes great. If you leave him, if you let him squirm, then he'll make the roll and everything, but he'll be mad at you. He'll know that, like, he'll blame you because you make eye contact through the water, and he's kind of giving you this look like.
Oh, does he know that she helps him?
I don't think he knows, but like he's looking helplessly at her, and he'll be mad. There'll be something here. He'll know something happened.
I'm gonna take it though.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it. So.
All right.
I think what happens is whenever I honestly, I'm like staring at him, but what happens is based on what I was watching earlier, I sort of just space out as I'm looking at him, and I'm bored, I'm unsatisfied, I do miss my old life, and all of that catches up in this moment, and I just like I'm looking dead at him, and yet I'm just completely.
It's horrifying too because he's like thrashing a little bit, and he like kind of coughs, all these bubbles come up, and people in the audience are kind of getting nervous, like, oh god, is he gonna drown? He's still in the chains? What's happening?
And that's when I hear the familiar voice of Cheryl go, Aurora, and I snap out of it immediately.
Off stage, she's standing there like, hey.
Yeah, like she's off stage, but she straight up just yells my name, and I snap out of it.
Right, so she knows.
She knows
that you're the power behind the Dango brand. Okay.
Yeah. She saw me in the bar fight use the powers. Obviously, I wasn't at all in control of them, and I basically fireballed 5 people and burned down the building.
Let's see how it goes. So this roll will encompass like the rest of the trick, right? Freeing Dango, and you can, if you want to, like if you succeed, you can feel free to make it like not. He doesn't just get unchained, but maybe there's some other effect.
It over the top. I am the burgeoning happy-go-lucky Alexatronian techno mage, and I realized what I did. And in this moment of panic, I realize what's happening to Dango, and I channel all of my sorcery into this, and I make not only the chains burst off of him, but the whole tank burst.
Yeah, I was thinking something like that totally makes sense. Like all the water disappears and the tank like opens and he's just standing there. Well, let's see how it goes. So yeah, all of a sudden
all the water bursts out too and gets all over the crowd and the glass goes everywhere. Like it just is like.
Oh, that's great. So you want to use your magic to make the tank disappear. So there's just like for a half second a cube of water and then all the water like flows onto the ground. That's very cool. All right. So to impress this crowd who's pretty skeptical, it's a big showy thing and you're using your magic, which you're not totally in control of. Let's call it a difficulty 6 flashy roll.
Okay. And that means I can use my 1 free Dango Unchained, right?
Yep.
And then
good roll.
I'm going to spend a point and do the Happy-Go-Lucky Technomage.
Yeah, so you can get even more like showiness from this. Okay, cool. So yeah, describe what happens. We see him because you're the one doing this. We see him like struggling. He looks at you like, oh God, I'm gonna drown. He coughs hard, bubbles, and then
he's choking, and you can tell he's struggling. But then when he realizes I wake up, I reach out and I yell Dango. And the whole tank just disappears, and the whole crowd just goes, oh! And that's when the water just drops everywhere. His chains disappear, and he falls down to the ground, and like in this like sort of anime-esque like one hand on the ground on his knees, and he's really calm, and then he stands up, and he goes.
Yeah, of course, right? Like I meant to do that, and yeah, he takes a bow as everybody starts clapping, and people start getting up out of their chair.
500 gallons of water just cascades across the crowd.
Yeah, and it's just pouring down into the orchestra pit. Yeah,
and they're super into it.
It's
Magic.
Like the orca show at SeaWorld, and like even Shia LaBeouf is impressed. He gets up, he's clapping. And there's he bows imperiously, and he looks over at you. And there's a look on Dango's face that I'm not sure you can make out. Like he's smiling for the audience, but there's something else going on in his eyes.
Festering beneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this the first time he's seen you do a thing?
Yeah, I mean, here's the question, and I'll turn this over to you because it's sort of your thing here. Either he thinks he did it himself and now has this opinion that he is he has some kind of innate magical or psychic powers.
Yes.
Or he knows you did it and is very upset about it and wants you to like stop making him look like a jackass in front of in front of the audience.
I don't have anything to compel with, but I'm gonna need someone to compel the fact that he thinks he has psychic powers, please.
Well, let's wait and see what she says. Come on.
I was gonna say if we could roll and he gets like a 1 or 2, then he blames me. But if he gets like a 3 or 4, then he thinks that it's like.
I mean, we can all just decide this together, right? Like ultimately, I can just say like this is what he thinks. But I wanted to see if if you're not leaning in any particular direction. I think
like he should be delusional and think that he really did.
I think that like is a good progression of his storyline, right? That like he's turned into like this kind of like nice guy controlling person in your life, and now he's gonna be like, I'm incredible, right? Like it's just gonna ramp.
He like thinks when his life gets in danger, he like does something amazing.
But then what's gonna happen is he's gonna look at Aurora and go, "Thanks for nothing," at the same time, because he'll think.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. Like it's funny because he looked at you like he wanted you to do something, not like he knew you could do anything, and then he got mad at you for not doing anything. Yeah. But also he's like, I'm a wizard now.
Pretty much.
Excellent. So yeah, he just like he's smiling and bowing, and people are throwing flowers on stage, and it's a whole thing. And I think that we fade the video out, and the audio is still like clapping and cheering, and like people being like Dango, and like shouting and
stage back towards Cheryl, and I'm just she's shaking her head, and I'm just like beet red.
It's a triumphant moment for the amazing Dango Keel. Awesome. So I think we fade out on that and fade in on Rex and his new friend Virgil. Now Virgil has a ship, and I think that he's invited you on it, and that the two of you are going to go and find Thuja together. And so you're sitting in the cockpit, and we can see whatever faster than light travel looks like outside the ship.
I'm gonna say his ship is like a lot better than mine too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and maybe
a distinct upgrade.
I guess I wonder, would it be how curious are you about? And maybe this is like, what are you and Virgil talking about in the cockpit? Is Rex being quiet and Virgil's mostly talking, or is Rex the one that's like?
Yeah,
talking?
Rex is being quiet and Virgil's mostly just talking. He's like boasting about his ship and all that shit.
Yeah,
These shark
yeah,
boys, they love their ships.
Yeah, so he's maybe talking about like an engine upgrade that he had recently. And he says, he's like, say whatever you want about those barbarians, but the Agarans make a good penetration drive. I upgraded this one last month. And he's like, it only takes me 13 parsecs to get from what so he's just like, we get techno babble of him bragging about his shit.
And Rex like understands it too. He's kind of like leaning in. He's like, no shit. Just like, and like humoring him.
Yeah. And he says, you so.
All I can imagine is every conversation from every Fast and Furious movie that's like fake car talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I jack up my nos, it's like, yep, cool, all right.
That's exactly this conversation. Yeah, totally. Virgil would be played by Ludacris in this scene. So he's talking about the drive and like all the weapon systems in the ship, and he says, so what? I mean, you could have all this. I mean, there isn't a hunter among us who hasn't heard of Rex. You're legendary, man. You've evaded an Imperial bounty longer than anybody in known record. So what are you doing hiding on a shithole planet like that?
Rex kind of like takes a deep breath and he's just like, it's a long story. Really?
And he's like, I got nowhere to go, man.
I had a crew. Shit went bad. Cut my ties. Doing my own thing now.
Jimmy Nas is like, you say that, and he's like, yeah, long story. And he says, he's like, look, man, I know we haven't known each other very long. You don't want to tell me? That's fine. I just like to know the people I work with. The people, not just the stories I hear. Because, man, I've heard some stories about you.
Rex kind of like rolls his eyes and under his breath he's like, "Oh, good, I hope."
He grins and he's like, well, depends on what you think of as good. You've got quite a reputation.
Rex changes the subject promptly and he kind of like brings the bounty up on the screen and he kind of points at it and he's like, how'd you know where she is anyway?
I got connections. I'm not at liberty to say. I know important people who'd rather stay anonymous. You know what I mean?
Hey, you don't want to answer me? That's fine.
He's like, it's not that. It's not that I don't want to tell you. It's just,
I feel like you don't want to tell me. I feel like that's what it is.
He sighs and he says,
I thought you wanted to get to know me, but just,
All right. Point taken. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Listen, I've got some contacts in the Imperium, and they feed me information sometimes in exchange for work. And he kind of like leans in and he says, like, I don't like him any more than anybody. They're stuck up, imperious, bunch of jerks, And while he's saying this, we see in the reflection of the screen, we see the prince be like, every time he says something like bad, like stuck up, he's like, I'm not, and like he's kind of like,
wait, is he like
offended.
on comms with us?
Well, we just see the prince in his reflection in the screen, like he's in the room, but he's not, right? We just see his reflection, and he's just like, oh, come on, like, that's not fair. You can hear him like saying this, and the guy's like, I don't like working with them, but you got to make friends, right? Now, trust me, I haven't told them where you are. They don't know. That's not what this is about. I just they're hunting the Agarans, and looks like they need a little help with this one is all. she's special to him somehow. And we turn and we see her, her Wanda poster up on the holo display. And he says, so I know you two have a history. That's why I knew to come and look for you. But well, it's not clear. What's your deal with this woman?
Rex is kind of looks back at him and he goes, "It's a long story."
He's like, he nods. He's like, okay, all right, I get it. Man of mystery, fine. But I mean, you got to give me something. I mean, she doesn't look that tough. And you look at her and yeah, like she in the hologram again, we get this look at Thuja and she looks like she's on the ropes, right? Like you've seen her. Normally she goes down fighting, right? Even bloodied and beaten, it's a fight to the end with Thuja, and you've been on both sides of them. But here she looks like worn down, like she does look vulnerable in this picture.
Rex kind of grins and he stands up and he puts one hand on Virgil's shoulder and kind of leans in and he goes, "Son, if I didn't come with you, you'd be in a body bag when you met her." And then kind of like pats him twice and then like walks off to like explore the ship, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, "Let me know when we're leaving."
Okay. Yeah. So you head off to like the quarters or whatever where you are, and we see him. He just like steeples his fingers and kind of like looks intently at the picture of Thuja. He's just like, like there's something's not right here. He can taste it. And then you head off into the ship and we fade out. So I think we fade back in on Eugene. And where are you? What are you up to, Eugene?
I mean, I have nowhere to go but my little office. I basically stay there all the time, even though I tell people I'm leaving, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna head out soon. I never do.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some rackets you got going on then. So what's your jam? What do you what irons do you have in the fire?
I mostly work with like people who want assassinations and the assassins, right? I'm like the middleman. I'm impartial. And then I've also got like, I'm basically trying to figure out because I've got that going on and I get a percentage of that, but then I'm trying to also get my hands into some like casino action as well. So
yeah. Well, and you're kind of like the center of a lot of information that flows in and out of the various bits of the sort of criminal underworld of the universe. And I think that you have access to many pies here. So are you just kind of like on the run trying to like make some money, like hiding out in the back end of the universe, or do you have your own side projects that you're working on?
Well, the reason that I am where I am right now is because I wound up following Rex for quite a while. I followed Rex and tried not to have him realize that I was following him for a decent amount of time. It turned out that the areas that he wound up going were areas I had been before, areas where I had been a lackey before, and I got kind of pulled back into this whole like, oh, interesting. You need somebody killed? I know people who can kill people. Right?
Oh man, I love the idea that you've been behind the scenes, like subtly influencing the jobs that Rex has been taking. Right? That's so good.
Yeah. So if you were to in that bar that he was in before, if you were to go into some back rooms, you would find a room that essentially looks like a closet with the name Eugene kind of scratched into it. Like I'm always really nearby. And I'm the one who influences the boards that are outside. Like I'm directly connected to everything that's been going on.
Oh, cool. So let's have you. How about you get a call from Virgil? So you're at your desk, and there's the pulsing sound of your comm system, and you have like an incoming call.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we see the it flickers to life. We see the kind of like hologram, like bust of Virgil the Shark Boy, and he says I have him on the ship, boss. We're headed to the coordinates.
What the? Why are you talking to me when you have him on the ship? What if he hears me? Come on, man.
Don't worry
You're
about
supposed
it.
to be a professional.
He doesn't suspect a thing. It's fine. I showed him the pamphlet. He got all weird, just like you said he would.
He's always
And-
weird. Yeah. Go on.
And he nods and he's like, "So, don't worry about it. We got this under control. It's fine."
All right. Well, keep me updated.
And he says, "So I guess my question for you, Dodger, is so is this like real? Are you actually getting Thuja and Rex to go like together by way of Virgil, or are you sending Rex somewhere else? And Thuja is just like a fake, like it's a fake lead."
I heard tell that people associated with the Mangasi were working their way toward the area that we're in. And so I tried to concoct a reason for him to leave because he's been sticking around here a lot because it's easy money.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out a way, like, what kind of situation can I create that kind of exists but kind of doesn't, that would make him get out of here.
Right. You want to get him into like grave, horrible danger so that he realizes he's a hero and not like a scummy assassin.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
love that.
don't want the Mangasi anywhere near him, but I also like want him in a situation where, where he feels like Rex, right?
Right. Okay. Let's talk
Eugene.
about let's talk about that situation and feel free to contribute here, Rex. What are they headed towards here? What have you arranged?
I mean, I haven't really arranged anything. It just, because of like the channels that I have, I know where Thuja is.
Mhm.
And I meet this other shark boy and I'm like, interesting. I know a shark boy who's worth a lot of money. Maybe I can create a situation where we could get Rex involved and you could take him out of here. And in the end, you might wind up with a lot of money because, hey, maybe you kill Thuja. Who fucking cares, right? Like, I don't give a shit about her.
Okay. Well, let's have you roll. Let's have you roll clever to orchestrate this situation. And I'm gonna say you're creating an aspect, and the aspect is Eugene's control. It's your control over the situation. You'll have boosts to like influence things as they happen,
Right.
kind of from behind the scenes. And then if you screw up, maybe Eugene is in over his head and doesn't actually have any idea what's going on.
I mean, probably.
Probably. Okay, I think this is a pretty complicated situation. Let's call it obstacle 6.
All right, I got a
Okay.
4.
All right. Do you want to spend a fate point?
Yes.
If you spend 1, you'll get a boost, 1 free boost. If you spend 2, you'll get 2. You're essentially like banking them for later.
Okay. I'll just spend 1.
Okay.
I'll use the aspect, but they're my idiots because I've
Right.
literally, like, even when I'm not really sure why, I've spent all this time like making sure that Rex is okay because I have no idea where anybody else is, and I've just wound up like he's wound up being this anchor for me to this life that we all had.
Yeah, he's your extracurricular project. You want to get him
Aw.
back. You want to get
Yeah.
him back on track.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. All right. So
It's like, God, he's so fucking sad and miserable. Like, God.
so you found the Sharkanoid, and you were like, all right, here's where you can find Rex. Rex has a connection to Thuja. This Sharkanoid guy. Okay, so he's agreed to this job. Virgil has agreed to the job because he thinks that the two of them will find Thuja and he'll get paid, right? Like you said.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you just want to
I
remind.
Believe completely that, like, together you guys can definitely take her down and make all this money, right?
Right. Yeah. And in the process, it'll remind Rex that he's actually like, a big hero, and you have a mission.
But what if this guy? I mean, I'm worth more than Thuja, so what if this guy has other
Oh,
intentions?
this guy's a schmuck. Please.
What if? What if?
Yeah,
This guy's a schmuck. You
even
can
schmucks
beat
can
him.
be evil.
That's
I'm just
good.
saying.
All right. So so he says he says we should be at the coordinates in in a couple of days. I'm going to keep him talking, try to figure out what he knows about the Sagaran. And then when we get there, payout. And you can see him. He's like, the greed on his face.
Yeah, buddy, I promise this is going to work out really well for you. You're going to be a very wealthy man. Shark, whatever.
And I think he says to you, he says, the thing I don't understand, Eugene, why not just go after Rex? I mean, he's worth a lot.
Well, here's the thing. Rex is going to be kind of hard to take down. But together, I think you guys can take down Thuja. You're never going to get somebody like Thuja to work with you to take down Rex. Do you feel me?
I think I don't know if he does feel you. I think you can see him being like, formulating, like, maybe we'll attack Thuja, and then after, when Rex is weak, I'll get him myself. I mean, I think if you want to try to convince him to, like, no, this is a stupid move, don't. You can see the bad idea gears turning.
Right.
Do you want to try to convince him not to do this?
I don't want to show my hand too much.
Yeah. So you want to just be like, no, do what you want to do?
Eugene has full faith that even if this dude like tried something stupid, he would die. So
I'm gonna compel you to say that someone comes in the room as you're speaking to him, and you're so distracted that like you don't really hear like his evil musings, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, I gotta go, and you just like you don't really hear what he says.
Sure.
So, which aspect do you want to compel for that?
I'm gonna compel. Which one was it? Less is more. Like he's trying to like deliberate you and like go into detail about his plan, and you're just like, nah, we've
keep it simple.
This business transaction.
All right, have fun. Bye.
Yeah,
right.
Just hang up.
Turn it off. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Cool. Let's jump over. I want to see what happened with Quinn. So Quinn, we see you. We saw you last, talking to this guy that you're freeing. What are you doing now?
The door to the cell slides open, and Quinn walks off, sort of like wiping off his hands. And he looks to the technicians and the officer, and he's like, "It is a mess in there. You're probably gonna have to clean that up." And they all just sort of like wander into the room. And then you hear a bunch of...
we stay outside.
Yeah.
We stay outside in the hall with you, and the door closes.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of noises, and then Baron Marduk comes out, sort of dressed as a technician.
Right. So he's built... I envision him to be if you were to cast Nathan Explosion from Metalocalypse, like in real life as a person. So he's this kind of like hulking, like head down, long black hair thing, but now he's wearing like a little like technician suit with some goggles on his head.
Yeah. So it's this guy who looks like just like the most metal dude ever, dressed in this weird technician outfit next to a giant lizard in like a wig and like a really ridiculous. Yeah, we both look silly.
Yeah, and he looks at you. He looks kind of up and down. And he looks around and he says, he's like, "This is ridiculous." And he like looks around and he says, "Get me a weapon or 2 or 4. We can kill our way out of here."
And Quinn smiles at him. And he's like, "There'll be time for that, but first, we have to get to the scepter."
And he nods and he says, "All right, lizard man. So where do you go? Where's the scepter being kept?"
So after Quinn was captured, the deal that was made is that because he learned all there was to know about the scepter and sort of has the knowledge of it, he wouldn't be killed. He'd be welcome there as long as he told them everything he knew. Mm-hmm. And of course, Quinn told them everything he learned, because his plan is for them to, to buy enough time that he can just take the scepter back. Because even if they know everything, it doesn't matter if they don't have it. So, yeah, he He didn't even play like sly with them. He was on their team from like moment one. Like, yeah, of course, here, and has been helping them for the last, I guess, months or however long it's been. But his goal was waiting for a moment that he could find some way to get it out, and he feels like a badass Agaran warlord is the exact right companion to help him escape.
Okay, yeah. So it's being kept somewhere important. I'm gonna say that the Commodore took it upon himself to like guard it personally. So it's either on his person or in his chambers, in Commodore Vassan's chambers. And the reason, I mean, maybe it's not clear to you, but like the reason they haven't immediately like just gone to the death weapon to activate it is because they want to use it to like finalize their hold over the universe. So they're gonna kill off the Agarans, get the people who are responsible for killing the prince, and then to cap it all off, be like, look what we can do, and like blow up a planet in vengeance. So they still have it. It's being safeguarded by the Commodore. So I guess that's where you go, or you're gonna go and try to like get to his quarters.
The first step is we're gonna try and shut down any power grids or any like we're gonna just shut power to the entire ship. So probably go to whatever qualifies as a warp core on this ship, and try to create a distraction so that we can go in there like badasses and like take them on.
So can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Are we allowed to compel you, Adam?
If you
all the NPC dudes.
So if you know
his stuff.
If you know an aspect of the NPC, you can compel it.
Okay.
But I'm always open to suggestions if people have thoughts about how things could go. Yeah, I'm not gonna say no.
So, from what I understand, Quinn is gonna try and fight this way out with this Agaran guy, but doesn't everyone hate a lizard man?
Yeah. So if you want, this would actually be compelling Quinn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can compel Quinn here, that Quinn is overconfident, that Quinn has maybe forgotten for a moment that this dude, like everyone else in the universe, actually hates his guts. So maybe what we see is, we see the two of you leave, and there's a moment where you're like, come on this way, and we see Baron Marduk staring at the back of you like he's angry, like he's waiting for an opportunity to murder you, because that's what they do. They murder people. They kill indiscriminately, and also you're Lizard Man. So
Lizard Man too. So I'm gonna say that this guy, like, Quinn doesn't, or maybe I don't know if Quinn notices or not, but this guy absolutely hates Lizardmen too. Just like everyone else, he just does not. And you wearing a uniform, especially a Benghazi one, he just like, he's gonna say whatever he can to save his own hide, but really he just hates you, dude.
Sure, there will be a moment you've by compelling this for Quinn, there will be a moment in which Baron Marduk will betray you because you're a Lizard Man and he hates you.
Yeah.
You'll have to deal with that.
I totally accept.
Yeah. All right. So the two of you, we see you slip away down the hallway, headed for the Commodore's quarters. So maybe we take our last break there, and we'll see if the great Scepter Caper, see if you can deactivate. I guess you're gonna deactivate the penetration drive first. So stick around. We'll see if Quinn can jack the penetration drive.
I'll jack it. I'll jack it.
Don't go anywhere. We got another hour of Nebula Jazz coming at you right after this.